News when you want it with Bloomberg News Now. I'm Erica Herskowitz. Despite signs of economic strength alongside easing price pressures after Fed Chair Kevin Warsh said he believes inflation risks have come down, stocks closed lower on Wall Street today. The Dow fell 14 points, the Nasdaq down 174, 2/3% lower. The S&P lost 16 points, down 1/4%. The 10-year Treasury yield at 4.47%, the 2-year Treasury yield at 4.16%. The fate of the $2 trillion North American trade deal is now in doubt as the July 1st deadline has come and gone. The U.S. has decided against renewing its trade deal with Canada and Mexico. That's according to U.S. Trade Representative Jamieson Greer, choosing instead to conduct annual reviews of the pact in a move that risks adding uncertainty for companies producing goods across North America. Bloomberg national security editor Nick Wadhams.
There is so much we don't know about what happens next because what is clear is that USMCA does remain in effect for now, but that hasn't stopped the president in the past from saying, okay, I'm going to impose these tariffs. So there are plenty of scenarios where he could basically contravene the terms of the USMCA and say, I'm going to impose tariffs on certain sectors of the economy, on certain elements of trade that I don't like, and that may violate the USMCA, but we can leave that for the courts to decide. And in the meantime, I'm going to impose those tariffs.
Bloomberg's Nick Wadhams. The U.S.-Mexico-Canada Agreement, or USMCA, will remain in force for another decade, provided no one country decides to exit. Annual reviews instead of a longer-term renewal open the door to years of contentious negotiations over the rules governing continent-wide supply chains and low tariff levels, vital for automakers, farmers, and energy companies. Meta is reportedly building out a new cloud business. The company, which has been rushing to secure expensive data centers and other infrastructure to fuel its own artificial intelligence ambitions, is forming a business to generate revenue from excess computing power to sell outside customers. Mandeep Singh is global head of tech research at Bloomberg Intelligence.
It is a very lucrative business right now, given the supply constraints. I mean, SpaceX signed those 2 deals with Anthropic and Google for almost a $25 billion run rate for 1 gigawatt capacity. So if you apply that type of math, then we could be talking about up to $15 to $20 billion in incremental revenue per gigawatt that Meta has.
Bloomberg's Mandeep Singh. Meta shares are ahead nearly 10%. We're also keeping an eye on another big tech IPO, shares of Bending Spoons. The parent company of Vimeo and other struggling software businesses rose above their initial public offering price after the company and some of its backers raised $1.68 billion. The trading gives Bending Spoons a market value of $19.7 billion. Compared with a valuation of about $14.5 billion in 2025. Apple is in negotiations to purchase chips from 2 Chinese semiconductor makers on a Pentagon blacklist to help reduce the impact of a global memory shortage that's forced the company to raise prices across its product line. Talks between Apple and the companies are ongoing and nothing is final yet. The effort comes as Apple and other consumer electronics manufacturers grapple with an unprecedented squeeze on the supply of memory chips touched off by the global artificial intelligence boom. Private payroll provider ADP says the private sector added 98,000 jobs last month. That's less than economists expected, but still a sign of solid hiring ahead of tomorrow's June non-farm payroll report. Bloomberg's Michael McKee has more.
The Fed has been worried about whether or not we are seeing pay increases as their focus shifts to inflation. And according to the ADP report, those who are staying in their jobs got pay increases of 4.4%, same as last month. But year-over-year pay growth for job changers accelerated to 6.6%. So that's something to keep an eye on tomorrow when we get average hourly earnings.
Bloomberg's Mike McKee reporting. Kroger reached a deal to acquire Giant Eagle for $1.65 billion, adding about 200 stores in states like Pennsylvania and Ohio. At the World Cup, Harry Kane scored twice, including the go-ahead goal in the 75th minute to lift England past the Democratic Republic of Congo 2-1. That's news when you want it with Bloomberg News Now. I'm Erica Herskowitz, and this is Bloomberg.